Although Mike Tyson is known as the baddest man on the planet, his return to full training remains uncertain at 58 years old, raising doubts about his ability to recover in time to make a comeback in the ring. Nevertheless, Tyson has been warning Jake ahead of their bout different date. If I were Mike Tyson in his prime, who would win a street fight? I think I would really kick Floyd's ass in the street fight, wouldn't even be a match, but probably if I was his size in the ring, he would outa me. Identical destiny my victory, according to spokesperson team manager Jake Paul, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, is still keeping a close eye on the Paul-Tyson fight. Although Tyson is still expected to compete professionally, there is a possibility that the fight will be canceled or rescheduled as an exhibition match with different rules, such as Paul being prohibited from striking Tyson below the waist due to his condition. The fight was originally scheduled for July 20th. Garnered much more attention following the former heavyweight champion's mid-flight ulcer flare-up. This incident drew attention to the fight between the 27-year-old YouTuber, who is now a boxer, and the 30-year-old former champion, raising more than just eyebrows. Mike Tyson celebrated his birthday surrounded by loved ones. How is his preparation shaping up for the anticipated Netflix showdown in November? Nakisha Badarian shared updates recently as the co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions. He joined Ariel Helwani on the most recent episode of MMA Hour. Helwani asked about Iron Mike's current condition and how he is doing now. Jake Paul has switched opponents from Mike Tyson to former UFC fighter and bare-knuckle boxer Mike Perry. The co-founder of MVP claims that Paul may have thought Iron Mike was receiving medical attention and recovering. Nisa Badarian responded that Tyson is making remarkable progress, leaving Jake Paul somewhat perplexed. He said Jake is angry because he sees Mike in Europe, living his life and making appearances celebrating his birthday. Nisa Badarian later checked with Team Tyson, and the update revealed that while the former heavyweight champion isn't currently involved in boxing training, he has started strength and body conditioning exercises. In summary, he is showing encouraging signs of recovery. When Ariel Helwani asked, "What do you say to people who say the Tyson fight should not happen? Shouldn't have happened before and shouldn't happen now?" Nakisha Badarian responded, pointing out that Mike Tyson's recent health scare was something that anyone could experience, emphasizing its universality. This was one of the most significant questions that had been circulating earlier in their talk. Conor McGregor, who made a much-anticipated comeback to the UFC after 3 years, was another example he used. The bout between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul makes perfect sense because of McGregor's age, in his opinion, which is why Badarian said that if Mike were in his early 30s, given Jake's experience, there would be no sense to the idea that age is the equalizing factor. McGregor's fight against Michael Chandler on June 29th was postponed due to a new injury. Then he made a comparison between Mike Tyson's accomplishments at age 27 and those of Jake Paul, pointing out that Tyson had amassed an outstanding record of 40 wins and just one defeat at that age. Jake Paul, on the other hand, is 91. This match is thrilling since Paul has only been fighting for 4 years, but Tyson has been fighting for 14. The fact that there is a chance for either fighter to lose makes it realistic. When asked what would happen in a hypothetical Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson match, the vast majority of fans said the former heavyweight champion would defeat the troublemaker. He came to the conclusion that if you ask the general public, everyone believes Mike Tyson will defeat Jake Paul, so as long as he remains healthy, which he did, and as long as we go ahead with our plan to fight on November 15th, then of course that fight should take place. Considering Tyson's age gap and recent health problems, the match has sparked criticism. However, Badarian believes the fight is intriguing due to the age difference. According to Badarian, anyone can sustain an injury or have an ulcer. In my opinion, the ages of Mike Tyson, who was 401 years old at age 27, and Jake Paul, who is 27 years old and 91 years old, make sense. While Mike Tyson had been a professional for 14 years at that point, Jake Paul had only been in the business for 4 years. This highlighted the fight's inherent unpredictable nature and the possibility of an unexpected result, even though many had Tyson's seasoned expertise and fearsome knockout ability to his advantage. The way that Jake Paul's manager, Nikki Badarian, expressed the excitement that fans have for a fight with KSI and Paul's current winning streak highlights the fact that Paul is determined to settle his rivalry with Tommy Fury above all else. "I don't think that's a focus for Jake," the manager said, acknowledging that there's much bigger fights that he's focused on from his perspective. "Don't ask me what those are," he added. Mike Perry, however, intends to destroy Jake. Paul's aspirations are high, but Perry, who is known as the undefeated 5-0 barbed knuckle boxing champion and a former UFC sensation, aims to stop him. His carefully thought-out three-phase plan calls for defeating Paul first, getting Tyson into a fight, and then going after a shot at UFC championship glory on Sean All's YouTube channel. Perry mentioned that he might take the Mike fight from Jake, expressing that he believed he deserved it. Fight from Jake, that was my next question. That was literally my next question. Yeah, fighting your boy. If you guys are boys, always my hermano. Yep, no, much love out of love of being a martial artist and a fighter. I would fight my brothers for money, because we're going to feed our families. And __, have a beer after we kick each other's ass. But Perry further remarked that he wondered if taking the fight would change everything, questioning whether people would still support Jake since they already have Netflix. He suggested that if viewers watched for Jake and then saw him win, they might realize that he was not a Disney kid, but a real person. He described himself as a regular guy who practiced martial arts and now had a big fight ahead. He emphasized that he did not care about all the stipulations and was focused on winning the fight, believing that after a victory the sky would be the limit for him. That would be what'd that be crazy, that busy, but does that change everything? For example, if everyone decides to buy something for Jake, they already have Netflix to watch if they so choose. Then they say things like, "Oh, this guy beats Jake. This guy wasn't no Disney kid. He's just a real person. For example, I'm just a regular guy who did martial arts. Now I got a big fight. I don't care about all the stipulations, man. I just win this fight and then sky the limit." Perry had in mind the UFC titleist Alex Pereira, who is the current light heavyweight champion and the former middleweight champion. Perry is unfazed by Pereira's obsession with moving up to the heavyweight class in order to win the first ever triple weight belt in UFC history. Perry continued by saying that he